Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? Good morning, good day, good evening from all around the world. Welcome to X Team Live. And today we're going to talk about mastering your LinkedIn profile with our expert, Ago. Prepare your pen and paper, your iPads, your laptops, your computers. Write it down. Have your LinkedIn open just to check it out if everything's in order. I think today is a very, very valuable lesson for all of you guys, and you will have a lot of information from today. And also prepare your questions, as after the webinar, you will have the opportunity to ask our expert Agu all the questions you want to ask about LinkedIn, how to enhance it, and everything else. So, without further ado, welcome Agu.
Hi everyone. Hi Anna. Nice to see you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for giving this time and your valuable information that you have for everyone. And I think without further ado, I have see a lot of people joining us from all around the world. Hi, Gabriel. Hi, Miguel. Hi, everyone. And shall we start?
Let's do this. Yes.
Let's do this.
All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining this webinar on how to master your LinkedIn profile. So, before we start, let me tell a little bit about myself and introduce myself. As Anna was saying, I'm Agu. I'm a recruiter team lead here at X Team, the most loved company for engineers. And I have been recruiting since 2009. So, yes, that's a long time. So, hopefully, all of the experience that I have learned will be helpful for you guys today. I'm a people person since birth. I love showing people about their true potential. Usually, people tend to underestimate themselves, and I love to point out how they are much better than they give themselves credit for. I'm an animal lover. I have a dog. His name is Enzo. I'm a psychologist, and I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'm a Gryffindor by heart and a Ravenclaw according to Potter.com. So, moving on, and just to give you a little bit of context about what today will be about, a little spoiler alert. Usually, there's like a misconception that LinkedIn is like an online resume that you just have it there and it's just static and you just occasionally hop into it and update if there's any update to, if any. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Actually, LinkedIn is a social platform and it allows us to interact. We can get to know you, know about your interests, your journey, all the things you're passionate about. And if you use it well, it can actually be like a little avatar of yourself where you can brand yourself, you can show everything that you've been doing, where you're up to. So what I said earlier in other videos is true. Recruiters do spend on average 6 to 8 seconds reviewing a LinkedIn profile or resume to determine if that person is suitable or not for a role. And we don't do this because we're mean. We do this because besides having a lot of applicants, usually, we do this because we already know what to look for and where to look for. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go behind the curtains. I'm going to show you how a recruiter, we look for. I'm going to show you all the LinkedIn sections, what we use them for, and how to use them properly to stand out. So if you're ready, I'm ready. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the basics. If you go into your LinkedIn profile, if you have it open or if you just remember how it is, you know that you have the option for a profile picture. And seems obvious, but I can't stress this enough. People sometimes I run into profile pictures that could be could be better. So I know I said LinkedIn is a social platform, but it's still a professional platform. So make sure you have a picture of yourself that is in good quality. We don't want to see like a crop picture with you and somebody else's arm sticking out. We just want to get an idea of who you are from the waist up is the perfect frame. Look into the camera, because this is the first contact we're going to have with you. So if you're looking into it, it already starts generating a bond and a trust. So that would be ideal. No background, so we don't need to see you having a vacation in the beach. Just a good background is enough. And if you see, we have the option for a banner. So if you're working at a company, and usually companies have banners, and if you like the banner that the company has, you're welcome to use that one. But if not, if you don't like those, or you're not currently working at a company, you can actually just Google LinkedIn banners in Google, and you will see a lot of options, and you can just pick one that you feel relates and with you the most. So moving on, after the option of putting a picture, you have the option of filming a video. So it's a 30-second video. And yes, I know it can be intimidating or embarrassing, but we have that option for a reason. And it's a good way of show a little bit more about yourself. So if keep in mind that 65% of our communication is nonverbal. So if we actually get to see 30 seconds of you talking, we as recruiter or any other person who's checking your LinkedIn profile will get to know a lot more about you. We'll be able to see your soft skills. If you're actually speaking in English, we can already know a little bit more about your English skills. So it's a great tool to take into consideration, to start telling a little bit about yourself. Can be a little bit of your work experience and just like 2 or 3 fun facts about you, and that will start engaging and building a bridge to the other person to connect. So for example, in my video, I say a little bit about who I am, what I do, and just 2 or 3 fun facts. And people actually, when they reach out, they saw that video and they reach out stating the things that I said on that video, and it starts creating a conversation starter. So if you feel brave enough, just do that video, because I can assure you that it will be highly recommended. So moving on. After the picture, banner, video, we have the headline. So for me, the headline is the most underestimated part of LinkedIn, and it's actually so important. 46% agree that it's more important to LinkedIn prospects than your actual experience. So keep in mind that the headline is the first thing we see as we scroll down. So if I'm in my feed and I'm scrolling down, I see your name. Here's an example of my name for you to see. And the first thing we see is the headline. So the headline is the first thing you're telling people about yourself. So it's very important to have one that will make you stand out. It's even the first impression you're giving people and how you're defining yourself. So use it in your advantage. It's an opportunity to show the world what you do, to show your value proposition, what you're known for, what you're good at, and it will set you apart from the rest of the people who are doing the exact same thing. So now we're going behind the curtain as a recruiter. When recruiters search on LinkedIn, we use keywords. So whatever keywords we search for, if you have it on your headline, we will be able to find you. So the best formula for the headline to make it easier for you guys is for you to have the title or the role that you work. It could be the name of the company. If you're working at a really good company that you know that is very attractive, it's a good thing to put it out, because recruiters, again, we can search by company. When we know that it's a company from the same industry that we're looking for, or that it has companies that have really great processes, or whatever the company is, we can search people by company. So if you put it in your headline, we can find you faster, setting that word as a keyword. And but if you don't have to put the company. It's just an option if you think your company has a really good value proposition. If not, just put your role and your value proposition, or something that you're good at. So for example, I in my title, I put my name, of course, what I do, and I tell a little bit about the company. So since I'm a recruiter, I'm telling the people that is the most loved company for engineers. So I'm already attracting people to take a look of what I'm offering. But if you're not a recruiter and you're a software engineer, for example, I prepared some examples for you today just to check it out. Of course, you will think of better examples than me, but these are just a few for you to see how full stack developers, there are a lot of people out there, but if you put something else or what you stand for or what you like, for example, advocate for clean code, I already get an idea of how you like to work or the things that are important for you. And it will stand out much more somebody that says this as only full stack engineer. Another example, Ruby developer, saving the world one renewable energy project at a time. It's just a clear fact that you're working in that industry, that matters for you, and that will stand out from the rest. Or just like a little funny one, QA engineer, I find bugs for a living. So those are just examples for you to understand the concept of putting your role, you can put or not the place you're working at, and then something that will add value to who you are and what you're doing and will make you stand out from the same people that are doing the exact same thing. Moving on. All right, so we have picture, banner, video, and headline. The next section on our LinkedIn is the About Me section. So usually people used to use this About Me as the summary that we used to put on the resume, like plus 10 years of experience working as a software engineer, blah, blah, blah. So that is correct. I mean, we should use this About section for that, but it's so much more than that. So pay attention here. This section is the one place that you can define yourself in your own words, free of a start date, free of a seniority, free of a title, and it will strengthen your first impression, the first impression that we have after looking of all the above parts that I just told you about. So what are good things to put in the About section is a little bit describe what makes you tick, a little bit what you've been working on. You can start with your professional experience. You can, if you wish, you can put the amount of years. If not, we can always find that out other ways. You can highlight whatever was a really great project or a success or something that was really incredible that you did. You can start revealing your character. It's very important to speak in first person. I've seen many LinkedIn sections about me that people start talking in third person like they're not that person. So this is very important. Stop talking first person and exactly the way you speak. So if you make jokes when you're talking, do that. I mean, I want to know who you are, and I want to, and we want to meet you. And the About Me is a great place to get to know a little bit about yourself. So tell a story of things you've done or why you chose the career that you chose or why you're working in the industry that you're working. Things that you think you would tell in an interview that are important, it's a good place to put them in the About section. And also, keep into this is important. Keep into consideration that if a recruiter wants to reach out to you and we're not connected in first degree, then we will not be able to connect unless you accept us, and then we're going to be able to see your email. So if you actively want recruiters to reach out to you, add your email so we don't have to wait until you accept. I mean, of course, we're not known as stalkers for no reason. We will eventually find out your email if we want to, even though the email is not there. But this will speed things up, and we won't feel that stalker if we already have the email. So in the LinkedIn section, just to clear the idea of the About Me, if you're working as a software developer, name the stack that you're working with. So name the databases, whatever you've been working on and that you want to continue working on, name it. So we don't have to see like a very large list of all the stack, all the technologies that you've been working on since college. Like if you used to work with PHP PHP in 2008, but you hate it now, don't add it, because most probably you will get a reach out for a PHP role, and most likely you'll get offended by it. So just name the technology that you feel you're good at, that you like, and if you actually want to state like, I'm looking for a role, interested in continue to work with this and this language, even better. If not, just make it very clear what you're working with, what you're good at, and what are your next steps in your career. But this is about me. We want to know, just consider it like the first 15 minutes in an interview, what are the things that you say. That's a great concept to think of how to break it down afterwards and write that about me section. So I chose some. They're not for software developers. One of them is, but I chose them because they have things that really stood out to me. For example, the first one talks about a childhood memory and how that make this person become who they are and what they stand for and the role they're working for today. So it comes like with a story, and that's beautiful. And if I'm scrolling down and I see this, I will definitely pay attention to this story and to this person. Even if they're not suitable for the role that I have, I will still pay attention, and maybe I will save it for another role whenever that role comes, that we have that role. Then I found the second one I like because they say clearly the stack that they're working with and things that they pride themselves, or so I already understand a little bit more about this person as soon as I read it. And the third one comes again with a little bit of a story, and afterwards they say, hey, there's a person behind this profile, and they say a little bit about them. So whenever I get to see this profile, this about me section in this profile, I actually feel that I know this person a little bit more. I know what they like. I know what their interests are. So it will be much easier to connect, to send a message, or just to know them. It's a beautiful way of telling a little bit in only two, 3 paragraphs, not much more. Don't make it really, really long. But I think in 1 or 2 paragraphs, you can clearly say a little bit about you, what you've done, what you're working on, and where you want to take your career to. Okay, so afterwards, we have the work experience section. So in this section, what we usually see is a little bit, we scroll down and see a little bit the experience overall. And what we wish to see in each experience is a little bit of the highlights of what you've been doing. So the best way to write down a little bit of what you've done is to add the stack that is really important, what you've been working on. If it's you can put also the industry. You can, if it was a really interesting project that you think it's worth mentioning, you can also add it there. I mean, we don't want to make it really long, but if there's something that deserves more attention than other thing, then of course add it. And maybe if you don't want to make it that long, but for example, if in your current job you've been doing great things, but maybe not in the past jobs, then make the other ones shorter, and in this current role, put all of it into that specific experience. So make sure to add the things that you've been working on, your stack, because like I said, when recruiters are looking for, we search by keywords. So for example, if I have a role and we need that person to have AWS experience, if we will search by AWS, but if you don't have it in your profile, I will not be able to find you. And maybe you don't have it and you're really good at it, or maybe I'll reach out and ask you. But again, if we already know you have it, it will make things much easier for both ways. So whatever you think it's important, add it there. Also, if you are currently working remotely, or if you have remote experience, when you add the company you've been working or are currently working that is remote, add it as remote, because in this software engineer world, we are actively looking for remote developers. having remote experience is a plus because remote experience will give you certain qualities that maybe working at an office won't, like good communication skills or people that are proactive and know how to work as sync. So those aspects are very important. So if you do have remote experience, make sure to put it. So we already know like this person probably has all of these qualities, like all of these remote qualities. What else? If you had any leadership experience, make sure to add it as well because that will also tell us a little bit more about you and how you work, and maybe we will know that you're interested in a lead role. So that's important info that we want to know as well. And side projects and side hustles matter. So this one is an important one, especially if you don't have that many years of experience. I actually interviewed the youngest developer at X Team. He at that time was 18 years old, but in his LinkedIn he had like 3 years of experience from side projects and things that he did on his own, and it was really valuable. It was really valuable things that he had done, that he had created, so I chose to interview him as well. And it was a good thing that he added them. Maybe some people think like, oh, this doesn't count or this doesn't important, and it does. So if there's anything that you've done on your own, especially if you don't have those many years of experience, make sure to add it. I'm sure a recruiter may find it very interesting. And also, I just put there an example for you to see the difference between just putting software engineer developing something as opposite of giving more examples, like how scalable the project was, how many users it had, if they were managing a team of developers, whatever thing that person was doing, they added. What I feel though this one is missing is like the stack, and software developer is pretty vague. I would like if it's Golang, if you're working with a specific technology, it's even better if you put it, because again, keywords, we're gonna find you easier. Besides, it's more appropriate to the role that you're doing. But if you're like doing a little bit of different things, then you don't have to put it that way. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so after the experience, and we're almost done here, we have the education and the endorsement. So there's a section of education. There's where you can add your degrees, your certifications, whatever course or trainings you have done, you can add them there. If you have any certification, is great, because sometimes we do get roles that ask for specific certifications. So if you have it, you can add it over there. You can also ask friends or colleagues for endorsements and recommendations. So this will start building your credibility. And I actually love reading that part in profiles. I love to know the person through another person's eyes and see what they liked about the person, why they recommend them. Even though it's usually friends and people they have worked, it still matters a lot. So if you have a good community and good colleagues that you've worked, just exchange recommendations, because it's a great way to know people from a different point of view. And the skills section is there's a place where you get to add all the skills that you've been working with. So here is where this is important, because recruiters, like I said, keywords, we search by keywords and skills. So if we're looking someone that has experience with, I don't know, with PHP, for example, if you have it as a skill, your profile will appear as a result. So also, if there's any skill that you don't want people to reach out to you, just a tip, you can take it out as a skill, so you won't get the wrong reach outs and the wrong the propositions that you don't want to get. All right, so before finishing, there is something that it's worth mentioning are the general settings. So when you go to settings, there's like in any social platform, you have the options for people that you're not connected to, they cannot see your profile. So if you do want recruiters or anyone to see your profile, make sure that you have the right settings. You can check this in your settings, and you can there choose specifically what you want people to see and what you don't want people to see. So if you want people to see your picture, if you want them to see your headline, if you want whatever the experience, you just go and put public. Is that what, if that is what you wish for? But some people don't know this, and they're surprised when they find out that maybe they're not being found because they have the wrong settings. And another important aspect to point out is the language. I've seen a lot of profiles that they start in one language, the experience is another language, and it's just very messy. So choose a language, stick with it. And also, there's the option to have two different profiles in two different languages. So if you want to choose one, I would choose, if you're looking for remote jobs and to work globally, I would choose to have it in English, because recruiters that are looking for will actually look for keywords. I mean, the languages, they're the same, but maybe we'll look for like team lead or specific words in English. So my recommendation is, if you want to choose only one, is to have it in English. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, you can have it in whatever language you do feel comfortable, and that's okay. And yeah, check your grammar mistakes as well. There are a lot of people that says are really, they have attention to details, but then they have a lot of grammar mistakes. So that's a little ironic. And anyway, it's important to have it like really well, very well displayed with all the settings and the language. And just a few like bonus points for you to have as well. All of the things that we've seen so far are like the basic things to stand out your profile, to have it really complete. So if you're like just waiting for recruiters to reach out, they'll probably, with all the things that I just shared, your profile will for sure stand out. But if you want to stand out a little bit more, my tip is for you to engage with the network. You can do this by actively being on LinkedIn, by commenting on other people's posts, by sharing, like posting content. This may not like immediately get you a job offer, but it's a great way to let your network know what are the things you're doing. For example, there's a game developer that I have in my network that I was not looking for a game developer, but I always saw that he was posting things, and he was a mid-level engineer, but he would always post things that he had done during the weekend that worked, that didn't work, like even failures, but he still was posting things that he was learning. And that person stood out all the time, because I always saw that he was like really active and eager to learn and to share, which is really valuable. So when I actually did get a game developer opportunity, I remembered this person's name and I reached out to him. So it's a good way to show a little bit of what you are, what you do, what you like, and it's like you start building like this brand around you and what you do. And of course, stay current. So whatever update you have, go into LinkedIn, add it. You can always, like I said, there's a media section as well. So in that media section, you can share documents, you can share presentations or a video, whatever material that you have that you think that was good. If you have a portfolio or a GitHub link, you can always share it over there. And just a little bit about GitHub, even though this webinar is about LinkedIn, I do want to point something out, because as recruiters, even though we do go to LinkedIn to search a lot, we also use GitHub as a place to search for people. And even though if we're not going actively into GitHub, sometimes what we do is when we find a profile on LinkedIn that we liked, or we're not really sure what that person is working with, what we do is we search for that person in GitHub to see and have a better understanding or more information on that person. So GitHub is a good place to be as well. Just a few like basic tips: have your profile completed, your picture, same tips as in LinkedIn. A good picture. It can also be a cartoon character if you want. It really, GitHub is like a different world. And add your email as well there, because that way it will be easier for us to reach out. And there, we really go into the showcase to see the projects. So there we go, and we see if you worked with open source projects, if what are the languages that you've been working on. So just keep in mind that we do check GitHub. It is a place where we get more info, and it's a great place for you guys as well. So just keep in mind that GitHub can be a great, also a little bit to have a little bit more background about who you are and what you've been working on. And with that, we are done. So if you, I really hope this info can help you in any way. Remember to show yourself. Don't underestimate anything that you've done and you worked on, or any passion that you have. Put it out there. Show the world what you're all about. For those of you who are actively looking for a job, good luck. I really hope you can find one, and I really hope this webinar can help you do that as well. So I think, Anna, we're ready for those questions right now, right?
Yes. Thank you again, Ago. And first of all, I would like to add, everything sounds so simple. And yet, in my recruitment days, I've seen so many mistakes all over and over and over again. So definitely, guys, just take half an hour of your time. Check your picture, check your about section, check your heading, and that will help you tremendously to score that job that you're looking for. First of all, I had a lot of questions. If we have a recording of this webinar, of course we will have it. It's in our YouTube X Team. Search, subscribe, and we will have all our lives recording there. And you can rewatch it and pause and write it down. So it will be really, really great for you to rewatch it again, just as a learning opportunity for it. And as for questions, we did have several. We can start with some. Let's start with the question of João Paulo Vensuita, and he asked, should I care about keywords in the about section?
Hi, João Paulo. I'm not sure if I understand the question, so I'll do my best to answer.
In the about, not in the experience or heading, like in the about, like should that person add everything that is important?
The about section, whenever we search with keywords, are you talking on?
No.
Oh, I thought you were moving. Okay. So whenever we search with keywords, even if you do have them in about section, we will find them. So if I'm looking, for example, for a Golang engineer, Go, and I search for Go, we can find that Go in any section of your LinkedIn profile. I can find it in your headline. If you have it in your about section, we will find it there. If you have it as a skill, if you have it in your work experience, if you have the word go or the keyword that I'm looking for, we will find it. And if you add it into your about section, it will be much clearer for us to understand that that's actually also something key for you as well. If it's a language, if it's something you're interested in. So my answer would be yes.
Cool. And talking about languages, Itatiano Nikini was asking that he has LinkedIn in 2 different languages, but is it really worth it? Because he's looking for companies that use only English.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit my point earlier. Maybe the question was asked before, but just to clear it out, in case it wasn't, in case I wasn't clear, if you're looking, my recommendation is to have it in English. Besides many of the language that we use for software development, it's the same in other languages. Like if we look for full stack and you're from Brazil, you're going to write full stack, and even though you're like from Brazil or whatever country you are. So many of the keywords will be the same. But the whole section, the general language, it's better to have it in English, especially if you're looking for a international remote job, because that way I already can see that you are invested in the language, that I can see how you write, that you know that, like, the language itself. So it's not worth it to have it in different languages. If you want, of course, it adds, because if I look for a keyword in another language, I can find you. Like, I have more chances to find you, but they usually are the same keywords when we're looking for in software development.
Yeah, it is true. And I'll be honest, if I see a profile, let's say in Portuguese or Spanish, I start to question if that person speaks English because I don't know.
Yes. Yes, that happens a lot. Sometimes when we see it only in one language,
Yes.
if it's Spanish, Portuguese, the language that it is, we doubt. I mean, I personally would reach out anyway if I find you're a good fit in whatever language you have the profile. But we start making these assumptions. You're right, Anna.
And actually, there's a good question, I would say, even in general, not only for the software developer. Diego Andres asking, what do we think about LinkedIn Premium? Does it make a difference?
If it depends for what you're thinking to use it. If you're thinking just to get a job, like, no, then definitely it won't help you. It won't make a difference. What we get with LinkedIn Premium is we get to, like, as a recruiter, we get to see more profiles when we're searching. We get the chance to get some emails. So an email is the opportunity to reach out to you, even though you're not a first degree contact. So if you want to network, if you're in sales or as a recruiter, that we don't even have freemium because we don't think it's worth it, because there are other ways of finding that people. But I think it's only good if you're, like, maybe in sales or something like that, that you want to reach out to the person, like, immediately and find people and network and prospects. But if you're just like a user and you have it there as a social platform and you're looking for a job, then no, it's too expensive. Sorry, LinkedIn. It's too expensive.
Sorry, LinkedIn, but I completely agree. If you're just searching a job, I don't think there's a necessity for it. Actually, about looking for a job, here's a question from Christian. He's asking, is it too desperate to change your status to open to work? Like, he
Hi,
made
Christian. Hi.
he made an interesting
That's a
comparison.
great question.
He made an
That's
interesting
a great question.
comparison. Usually, girls doesn't want to date the guy who is really desperate.
I understand where it comes from. And a lot of people ask me this. I'm really glad you asked this, so we can talk about it here. I think maybe there maybe some years ago this could be true. Like, if we saw somebody with, like, the human has we make wrong assumptions sometimes. So maybe when you saw open to work, you're like, oh, why isn't the person not working right now? Why aren't they hired? But the truth is, now, especially nowadays, there are so many layoffs, so many people actively looking, that they're great talents, that we should get them as soon as possible. And it has nothing to do if the person is good or they're bad. It just has to do with a situation. And that's it. You're open to work right now, but you maybe won't be, like, hopefully shortly. So it's a great way to know that you're actively looking for a job, that we can reach out to you, because we do get a lot of rude responses sometimes. And there are a lot of people that get maybe a lot of messages and they're not looking for a job. So they don't like receiving, especially if we are stalking them and getting their email through other ways. So if you're just putting that you're open to work, most likely it's a great way to show us that you are interested, that we can reach out and you won't take it badly. And we will understand that it's only circumstantial,
Yeah.
especially nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think that point of view is a little bit outdated. Like before, maybe 3, 4 years ago, it would seem a little bit as desperate, but now I don't think it's. And actually, it's cool if you find that profile and it says open to work. You're like, yes,
Yes, yeah, that's a sensation.
Yes. Okay, I have another question from Gabriel. Is it good to have in the title technologies, like for example, software engineer, Node, JavaScript, Rails, etc., or is it pollutes a little bit? Like,
If it's I would go to adding it not the entire list of your skills. I see many profiles that are just like the headline is just like the skills they know, and that is very confusing.
yes.
So if there's one in particular that you want to stand out, then add that one, and the other ones add them in a different section. Add them in your about section, in your work experience, in your skills section. So if you're searching by keywords, we will find you anyway. We will find you. But the headline, try to keep it clean. Try to be something more simple. It will have better results than just like a list of all the things that you're working on.
Thank you. And
But do add them. If you have like experience with them, add them, and all you have like different chances to add them. If headline, about section, work experience, skills, make sure to add them, but just like distribute
yeah.
the information.
Yes, completely agree. And also, as Ago mentioned, if you add everything like crammed into headline, into about section in your work experience, it's too much and it creates confusion because from PHP to Golang and from uh, Python to JavaScript, we don't understand what is actually you're passionate about. What do you want to work now? And where do you have most experience with? Because I've seen so many add in C++ and actually it was or Java and it was like a university experience project that the person, yes.
Yeah.
So if you haven't touched Java in 10 years, don't add it. It doesn't give you a bonus. It just confuses. And in the end, you will receive opportunities that is not for you. Talking about receiving opportunity, Natalie is asking vice versa. If you're reaching out to a recruiter, like, is there a good way to do it? Is like a template, how the person can reach out to a recruiter and be heard? And if it's a good actually to do this.
Great question, Natalie. Yes, I recommend to actively reach out to recruiters. It's a great way to show like you're proactive, you're searching. It won't speak badly of you at all. It's great. So yes to doing it. And the best way I would do, keep in mind that recruiters also get a lot of messages, especially nowadays. So the same way that we want your profile to stand out, you will want your message to stand out. So a good way to do it is maybe see something in the profile of the recruiter that stood out, and that will start a conversation. Like for example, if you saw that the person studied in a certain university, or that they stated that they like something, just like, hey, I saw that you like this, or just like something that will get the attention of a recruiter. That's a really great way to quickly the recruiter quickly see it and actively engage. The same way it goes when we're looking for candidates as well. Like we need to see what they like, and try to get their attention. So that would be the best way of saying. And then actively like just saying like the truth. I'm this person, I'm looking for a job with this and this and this. I mean, also like actively go into the job portals and apply. That's also a great way to start. We know there are a lot of applications that maybe don't get the amount of answers that the person would like. So if you want to search for a recruiter that works in a determined company that you like, then yes, go for it. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. And talking about location, we had a question here from Giancarlos asking if it's important. He tried to post like different locations and he was able to find a job in different location, but then they wanted him to be there. I assume mostly it's for when you're looking for international job and like post USA. Do you think it's important or just to add remote maybe?
Hi, yeah, hi, Giancarlo. Yeah, I would like to know the background of the story to understand why he's changing maybe the location, or why he felt I assume the same thing on us must be because of that. I would just be true. I mean, true to the place that I am in the country that I am, because if you're like lying that you're in another country just to get a remote opportunity there, the truth will come out eventually, and that won't look good. There are a lot. Besides, there are so many remote opportunities like anywhere in the world. So find a place that actually people won't care where you are. That's the best place too. That's the best option for you. So today you want to live somewhere, tomorrow you want to be somewhere else. It doesn't matter where you're living at the moment. That's the truth. It shouldn't matter. So just be honest where you are.
True, and I guess the Active it would be the best example of it.
Yes, I didn't want
Because
to
we're
promote XU, but
But actually, we have
yeah.
several questions about X Team, and I think that what makes us stand out in comparison to a lot of companies. Ricardo is asking, do we give feedback after an interview or a technical assessment?
Yes. Yes, of course. Just to tell a little bit then in general about our process, usually the first step is an interview with a recruiter. All of our recruiters are fantastic. With whoever you get the chance to meet, they will be great. And it's just like a 30, 45-minute chat just to get to know you. The things that I just said on LinkedIn about who you are, what you like, your journey, your interests, understand a little bit more of what we do and what lightens you up. And then, of course, you get a feedback. And then the next step would be what we call them garden interviews, that there are technical interviews with somebody from our team. And then you get a feedback about that one as well. And then you move forward to an interview with one of our partners. That's usually like very briefly explained our process. Yes.
And if you want to check out all the open positions that we have currently, you can go to jobs.xteam.com and sign up. And also, we have job openings email subscription. So when you sign up, if you don't see a position that is fit for you, they may be tomorrow. So you can just be ready when you receive that email that's saying, hey, that backend developer is open and you can apply right away.
Yeah,
So
let me just add something there. Anna was saying, when we actually have a job opportunity at X Team, before going into LinkedIn, we search in our own database. So we will start there, and put the right keywords and everything there, because we will find you there with those keywords and the technologies that you're working with.
yes, and I see George with a little bit controversial question. Does age matter?
Does what? Age matter?
Age.
No. I mean, I know maybe in some companies it does. I will not speak for all the companies that there are out there. I will speak for X Team. It does not matter. We have, like I said, really young developers with 18 years of old that entered, and we have older people like me, or more older as well, working here. We don't even ask that question in the interview, so maybe that will give you an idea that it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I think that's most important is the experience that you bring, the role fit, and the XTeam experience itself. So, and we receive a lot of comments of loving XTeam, and yeah, it is also a question really typical for on do we hire junior or senior developers, but I don't think we have this type like a serious division of junior, middle, senior. It's more about the experience, but Ago can add much more about that.
No, it's true. It's true. Seniority is always like a thing. Most partners will ask with a little bit of experience, because since it's remote job and everything, like having a background and having some experience will be important. But we do have like people from less experience, people with more experience. It's what you done during that time as well. That's why I'm also not a really big fan of in your LinkedIn sections like putting yourself a seniority. Like I see a lot of in your headline, like senior or mid-level engineer, and maybe I don't know, maybe the company you're working now said you're a mid senior, but maybe another place you're a senior. So I would never like seniority is always like an issue. We hire like usually from mid level to senior tech lead, architect, and everything. And regarding like if to put it or not in your profile, I would add it more in the work experience, not much in the about me or the headline, just to keep every like don't underestimate yourself. Maybe you're more than you think.
I agree, completely agree. I think we need for a live just a separate Q&A for
Yes.
the XT because that will take a lot of time. We had a lot to talk about, and I think for today the main questions were answered. I think the important information was given. Again, you just should check it out in YouTube in X Team if you missed something, if you want to review that information again, because I think it's really, really valuable. And if you follow all the tips that Ago gave, your LinkedIn will stand out. We will promise you. It's like 100% guarantee. And just
Yes.
to check it out, it's important. Here's Ago's LinkedIn profile. Be amazed. It's amazing. It has a video. So just it's amazing. It's like this is how it should be done. Just check it out. Agustina Parra. You can search her in LinkedIn.
Yes, and just to be connected and reach out if you have any questions. If you want me to see your profile, I'll gladly do it as well, and I'll be glad to be connected with whoever wants to be connected with me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Master Ago. You just blowed our minds. Thank you for your time and see you for the next time. Have a great one.
See you. Bye, everyone.